Welcome back to Mysterious Goings On. Hey, it's me, Alex. Welcome back to the show. I hope you've been enjoying this latest season of interviews with creative people who sometimes don't even think they're creative, but they are. Everybody's creative in their own way, and I hope that this season has been no exception. You know, we've talked to people the past year or so about these topics, you know, and I keep saying, you know, about photographers and actors and musicians and chefs, and then last week we had a creative accountant. Not that he was cooking the books or anything, but he's taken a creative approach to accounting and working in the cannabis industry, which is not the place you'd expect to find most conservative accountant types working in. So anyway, I hope if you haven't heard that one yet, that you will. Today, though, it's a little different. Don't know how to say this. I don't know if we're going to go into creativity or not. Let me just explain really quickly, though, that I've been podcasting since about 2006. I was basically there when it was all stone knives and bear skins and a couple of Dixie cups and string. I was definitely your probably first generation podcaster. And my first show was one I did back when I was in politics in Oklahoma, right after I'd been in politics, and it was called Sooner Thought. It was a Sooner Thought show, and actually, it's been my most successful show to date. Well, we had interviews with New York Times best-selling authors, we had interviews with politicians, we had all kinds of stuff. But one thing I really loved was I had a regular segment with probably the greatest political pundit I've ever met in my life. I actually haven't really met this guy. I just talk to him over the phone, but it seems like he's ever present in my life one way or another. His name is Euro Satan, and he's a different kind of guy, and he has his own take on things. And, you know, rather than me continuing to blather on and tell you about him, I think we should just welcome, for the first time, to Mysterious Goings On, a very mysterious person, a wonderful guest, Euro Satan.
Thank you, Alex. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing really well. It's good to hear your voice again. It took me forever to get a hold of you.
It's a busy life that I lead, being mysterious myself. I think you, as a mysterious person, will certainly understand the mysterious goings on in my universe.
Yes. Well, what's been going on with you?
Well, I am doing very well, Alex. Thank you for asking. This is a very special time for me, and I truly feel that my bad luck with public perception is finally over.
Really? What makes you say that?
It's this current administration, Alex. I have to tell you, when they took office, I thought for sure that I would be blamed for their activities, destroying the environment, putting people in cages, taking children from their parents, stealing money. It really sounded like stuff I usually have to take the rap for. You know what I'm saying? But here we are. The God people are all embracing him. They're taking credit for all of it. Maybe people are finally realizing that I may not be the bad one. Just misunderstood, you know?
Well, I don't think it's all the God people, just a select few whose fear and xenophobia are being courted.
Small victories, Alex. Baby steps. Just like my lawsuit.
Oh, you're having some legal issues?
Sadly, yes. You have to be very careful when you pronounce my name.
Euro Satan?
Precisely. I was sued by a small chain of restaurants specializing in extra spicy Greek food called Euro Satan. We settled out of court, but my dream of selling a line of Euro Satan's hotter than hell habanero hot sauce has been summarily crushed by a team of overzealous trademark attorneys.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So do you have any... Well, how about this? Do you have any hot takes on the upcoming presidential primary?
Oh, I see what you did there, Alex. Hot takes. Yeah, yes, indeed. I have a few observations. That Nevada debate, crazy. It was like me at a bar in my single days, you know, go ugly early, because that's where you're going to end up anyway.
Yeah. Yes, well, things got pretty contentious, that's for sure. I just wish they'd spend as much time attacking Trump as they did each other.
Indeed. And what I saw was, like always, Gen Xers getting left out of the discussion and out of the decision. Six people standing on the stage, one millennial who thinks he should inherit the presidency without working for it, and five baby boomers still trying, even in their advancing years, to hold on to power, to think they're relevant and to foist their worldview and their opinions on everyone else. We, as has been the case our entire lives as Gen Xers, are trapped in the huge shadow of the boomers, while the younger generation feels like they are entitled to take the reins.
Oh, I didn't know that you were a Gen Xer.
Oh, my, yes, Alex. God, as you may know, is the original boomer. There's no one more boomer than him. All his rules and power hungry antics and lording his power over everyone else. And if Jesus is not a millennial, I don't know who is. All that inclusive love, everyone, kumbaya stuff, that leaves me in the middle. Plus, best music ever. Am I right?
I totally, Biff. Right here, Gen Xer, right here with you. Okay, so but back to the debate. Who do you think won?
So, if Bloomberg's goal was to look like a rich, entitled billionaire who's out of touch with reality, I'd say he won, landslide. No one else would say he won, but that could be because of the NDAs.
I don't even think even his money and high dollar campaign ads can help him recover from that one.
Yeah. And who decided that a billionaire egomaniac was the antidote for another billionaire egomaniac? Is that some sort of immovable object, unstoppable force paradox thing? I'm more of a Schrodinger's ballot box guy. The vote is and is not for the Democrat of my choosing in November. At the same time, I don't know. You're the crisis comm specialist. What would you advise Bloomberg to do?
Well, I think Bloomberg made a mistake by not immediately owning up to, saying something along the lines of about the MDAs and all that stuff that he allegedly said. Just saying, those things were said back when I was a younger man back in the 80s. He could look right at Senator Warren and say, Senator, I think we all can look back at the time in the 80s when we did things we regretted. Like, for example, I said some bad jokes that were taken the wrong way and made people uncomfortable, and you, Senator, supported Ronald Reagan.
Ooh, low blow.
Yeah, but he didn't do that, and you kind of expected Bloomberg to punch back.
Yes. And to think that over time, me being a person who's been around for a very long time, is that to say something about the ability to learn and grow and change over time is pretty important, wouldn't you say?
I think so. Speaking of which, that's probably maybe what Bloomberg should do is to help old Joe out a little bit. Maybe just throw his money behind old Joe Biden, who, I happen to think is very qualified to be president, but he's a somewhat lackluster campaigner.
Yes, I think Joe fared extremely well, but moderates in general have a lot of work to do if they want to beat the Bernie bros and the far left, right?
That's true. I think they're going to have to get to a point where they're going to have to coalesce behind somebody, because if the Democrats really, really are serious about not letting Bernie run away with it, a guy, by the way, who's not even a registered Democrat, then they need to coalesce behind one moderate and all agree this is more important. Because I happen to think Bernie will get crushed by Trump if he's the nominee. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see a clear path there. So I hope we can coalesce. And I like Joe, but I respect Amy. I somewhat respect Pete. I think he's a little young. So I think it's time to coalesce, though. It's time.
Yes, but what I don't understand, Alex, is why certain states get first dibs to decide presidential candidates. It's a peculiar phenomenon that a small state like Iowa or New Hampshire could believe that they should have more say in deciding who the next president should be than larger states. Or why not do it like a general election, have all the states vote at the same time? If no one gets a majority, you have a runoff. It reminds me of when Portugal decided it would rule all of Europe. It worked for a little while, and then the rest of the world said, Portugal? Really? And then it was over. America should do the same with staggered primaries. I mean, Iowa, New Hampshire, really?
Yeah. I mean, I think you're so right about that. You make a good point. I mean, if we must do it, at least choose a state that more closely represents a cross section of America. That said, South Carolina should be an interesting test.
Yes, but it is an open primary. So Trump supporters can vote for the Democrat they think is the most beatable in November. Bernie could be the Sanjay or Taylor Hicks of the 2020 race, allowing competitors to vote for the worst in your primary. It's a nightmare matchup waiting to happen. Frankly, it all has me so nervous, Alex. I cannot check.
True, and the coronavirus could be another election wild card. Travelers are scared, markets are shaken and worried.
Me too. I remember when the Black Plague hit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, 25 million people died. Like 1/3 of Europe's population gone, and all we got in return was that catchy "Ring Around the Rosie" song. Everything else is forgotten, but kids are still singing that crazy tune. It was like the Baby Shark of the Middle Ages. Doubt there's anything as cool that rhymes with COVID-19.
You're probably right.
And I think that's when Bernie started on his handful of posies in every pocket campaign. And the Bernie brethren, they still had an axe to grind. Literally, they worked at ye old axe grindery, and they would cough on you if you didn't vote for him.
Jeez. Some things never change. Oh, Euro, I think we're about out of time, but it was so great speaking with you. Since this is an election year, I hope you can come back again soon here on Mysterious Goings On and share your unique perception of things.
I would love to, Alex.
And don't forget to check out Euro's Twitter feed. It's just at Eurosatan, EUROSATAN, and that's not the Euro Satan, where I keep you out of your lawsuit.
Thank you.
Pretty easy
Alex.
to find. Yes, and you can follow him on Twitter and get his piquant observations every day of the week. You're not on there all the time, but there's usually new content there every few days.
And I will this election year endeavor to be more active on the social media.
You know, one great thing about this is, like you said, we first started doing this 14 years ago. Then we had it's been a long break, but, you haven't changed. You're still just as sharp and witty, and your experiences all through the dawn of time are going to be very helpful to our listeners, I think.
Thank you, Alex.
Don't forget to check him out on Twitter, Eurosatan, and we'll definitely have him back here on Mysterious Goings On. You know what? This is going to be just kind of a quick one. I thought we would get a little moment or two with Euro, and then I was going to tell you that I will probably be taking a hiatus pretty quickly for the show. We've done several this season already, and as you know, I usually take a break in between, recharge the batteries. I've got a number of speaking engagements. I got some television appearances. I got some stuff going on, so it's getting kind of busy, and the day job is starting to take over a little bit, but I'm going to recharge the batteries and come back at you. So not saying this is the last one before the hiatus. There may be a monologue before the hiatus, but pretty sure that we'll be taking a couple or 3-week break, either right after this episode or right after the one right after this one. So don't forget to check out the mothership. That's mgopod.com, where you will have a complete listing of every episode we've done with show notes that include links, including a link to my friend Eurosatan's Twitter feed if you want to go look it up there. And there's information galore there. Also, I'll just take a point of personal privilege. I have another show. It's more about public relations, marketing, and management tips, and also some productivity hacks and things like that. It's called PR After Hours, and it's your virtual cocktail lounge of tips, advice, and fun stuff. We try to do 2 of those a week, and admittedly, that's getting in a little bit on my MGO time, but it's all part of the day job. But those tips are there, and prafterhours.com is the website where you can learn more about it. But I hope you'll check that show out too, because you don't have to necessarily own a business and need PR or marketing. There's just like productivity hacks, like how to get out of email hell, what's wrong with multitasking, what's right about it, maybe nothing, all kinds of stuff like that. You'll get my take on all of those things, and I share valuable tips and information with links to great articles that can help you not only better your business, but better your productivity. Next thing I want to tell you, one last thing before I let you go, is that work continues apace on the new John Pilot mystery novel. That's another reason I'm going to have to take a little bit of a slowdown on the podcast here. Is I'm spending quite a bit of time writing it, and I'm going to tell you, I'm very encouraged by what's happening so far. I think my deal I made with Euro Satan is paying off on this one. So until we meet again, I hope you have a splendid, fantastic week. I hope the world is good to you, and I hope you're paying attention to what's going on with the election, the primaries, and I encourage you strongly to get behind a candidate that you believe in, write a check, make some calls, put up a sign, be an active participant in our democracy. All right? So until next time, keep reading.
Play the lottery with Jackpocket. What's Jackpocket? Jackpocket is the lottery app that lets you play New Jersey lottery games right on your phone. People have won over $5 million playing the lottery on Jackpocket. Download Jackpocket and get a free Mega Millions ticket using promo code CASH. Jackpocket. Play the New Jersey lottery on your phone. Must be 18 or older to play. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please visit jackpocket.com/TOS for full terms of service.
Hi, welcome to Metro by T-Mobile.
Hi, my dad is in serious need of an upgrade.
Yeah, my phone's a fossil.
He needs a new phone and a new network, stat.
Well, when he switches to Metro, he can get an amazing iPhone 7 with HD Retina display for just $99.99 after ID validation.
Wow, $99.99?
Bye-bye, fossil.
Requires porting of eligible number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. With validation of ID, an independent database limit 4 per account/household, 32 gig.